Welcome to Strictly Salina, a program of SMC TV, formerly known as Community Access Television, our wonderful community television station in Salina, Kansas. Strictly Salina is a program which highlights many nonprofit organizations, some businesses, that will help educate all of us who live here, entertain us, and make us fully aware of the opportunities that we have in Salina to learn, to grow, to volunteer, to be entertained. And today I am so pleased to have as our guest Tanya Penn, who is the new Director of Resource Development for the United Way in Salina.
Yes.
Tanya, it's such a pleasure to have you here, and I want to tell you especially why. The United Way across the country has been such a major force in keeping cities and towns and communities healthy for all kinds of reasons. So I think you all are celebrating a special birthday as an organization.
Well, actually, we are celebrating our 80th anniversary here in Salina.
It's amazing.
It is really, really interesting. Part of our kickoff that we did this year, I was able to do a lot of research on the United Way here in Salina.
Oh, good.
All the way back to the 30s.
Oh,
and it was so
share
fun.
a little of that with
Sure.
us. Will you do that?
Sure. It actually started as what was called a community chest back in 1938.
I remember that term.
Yes.
I wasn't old enough to know that in 1938, though,
Well,
Tanya.
I hope
want
not.
you to know.
Yes, I would not know. I would never say that, no. But when it did start in 1938, it was what they talked a lot about back then was the war chests. And this was ways of helping the community in a collaboration effort. And so in 1938, the charter was signed, and it was signed as the Salina Community Chest.
Okay.
And throughout its 80 years, it has changed names a few times. But since the 40s, it's been a United Way.
And when it was the community chest at the beginning, it was to help the war effort?
It was to help the community.
During the war effort.
During the war effort.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
See, that's history I was not aware of.
Yes. I was so lucky to be able to talk with Ken Jennison.
Yes.
And he's been involved with the United Way for a very long time, and was telling me that back in the early 40s and 50s, there was a torch. There was like a United Way torch that was in the hospital parking lot. It's not really it wasn't the hospital at the time. And that he was one of the people that was able to light the torch because he served on the board.
Isn't that amazing?
And it is fascinating. And he did mention that there were times that they would not light it because of the war, and they were worried that it would draw attention to Salina.
Isn't that
And so, yeah, I mean, we have a great history in the community, and so many people have been involved.
So many people have been involved. And so today, in today's community, what would you say the main either vision or purpose of the United Way is in Salina now?
Sure. It's still very community driven. Our actual mission is strengthening our community, and we do that through multiple different programs and partnerships with businesses and organizations here in Salina.
So as a resource development director, what will your role be in that vision?
Sure. Well, my main goal is to spread the word about what United Way does,
Okay.
what services we can offer to the community, and also to get support from individuals and businesses to help support the United Way.
So how many programs does the United Way assist in Salina, Kansas?
We have 5 programs that are collaborations in the community that we have granted just over $350,000 a year to. And those represent the old numbers were 70 different organizations working together. So it's only more than that now.
Do you know the 5 programs?
Yes, we do. We have one is called the Homeless Health Initiative.
Okay.
And it is through Ashby House.
All right.
And it is basically a clinic that they have set up for individuals who come in having medical issues, mental health issues,
yes.
and they're able to go in and get an assessment right away and not have to wait 30 days to get in to see a doctor.
Now, would there be would the Ashby House be collaborating with any other agencies who do?
Sure, yes, they do. They
Okay.
would, they have to, in order to be considered for one of the grants,
Right.
they do have to show that they're collaborating with multiple different places. So Salina Family Healthcare.
And I think Catholic
Charities, yes. A lot of places work together. And because Salina is a fairly small community,
Yes.
we all work together even when you don't realize that you are.
Yes,
so
that's probably true.
it overlaps a lot.
And so then the second program would be?
The second one that we have is called PEACE, which is Partners in Early Childhood Education.
Okay.
The program is held at through CAPS, but they have multiple collaborations along with that. And that one is where they teach, basically we teach the teachers so that those children, or those child care providers are able to have the kids ready to go when it's time to go to kindergarten.
And so in those collaborative agencies or entities,
Mm-hmm.
would they also be receiving funding from the United Way?
In a roundabout way, yes.
Okay.
The fiscal agent is the one that receives the money
Right.
from us, and then from there they pay out their.
And
so yes.
So probably in that program request, it would identify the
Yes.
collaborators.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and what their budget would look
See,
like.
that organizational pattern I was not even aware of. So program number 3.
Number 3 is called Good Beginnings Early Education Collaborative, and that one is done through Salina Child Care Association.
Okay.
And they also work with all of the different, basically child care agencies in the community.
How many kids in that age group do you suppose we're affecting? Thousands, I would think.
Thousands. Well, one way that I could say that we can gauge that, and
Yes.
the only way that I think we could gauge is we also have a program called the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
I didn't know anything about that. Tell us about that.
Sure, we have a lot.
Gorgeous.
See, this is wonderful.
I know, it's wonderful for us,
Yes,
too.
yay. It is a program that Dolly Parton began years ago, and it's for children ages 0 to 5. And if they register for this, they can receive 1 free book in the mail per month.
Wonderful.
Until they turn 5. So that's a total of 60 books that they could have by the time they're 5. And in that program at this point in time, we have over 2,000
Isn't
kids.
that wonderful?
So if we gauge 0 to 5 years old that are enrolled, that's at least 2,000, and there's more, I'm
So if
sure.
I'm the mother of a little person, how would I learn about that?
If they are interested, just call the United Way here in
Okay.
Salina. We have one gal, her name is Regina, and she answers the phone, and she's kind of the point person.
And would the library be involved with you all in that effort at all?
They are in passing the word and,
Okay,
getting the
okay.
word out.
Okay.
We have been lucky that a foundation has agreed to sponsor that program. Here at the United Way, we're working on facilitating it and
Yes.
managing it.
Yes.
But it has been picked up and is now being funded for all of, I'm going to get my counties wrong because I don't
that's
know all
all
my
right.
counties.
That's okay.
But it will go as far up as the Nebraska border and pretty close to all the way to the Colorado border. Yes.
So program number 4.
Number 4 is the Hispanic Mentoring Program, and that is through Big Brothers Big Sisters of Salina, and it is set up to provide a Hispanic interpreter for those clients that don't speak English, and knowing the
Good.
difficulties that it would be to have a child have
Right.
to translate for their parent in a
Right.
situation where they don't necessarily want to.
Right.
They have a interpreter that's in their office, but has also been solicited to help on other occasions, and so they're able to include those families in things that they normally wouldn't be able to communicate with them.
That just helps us to be a better, healthier, diverse community.
Correct.
Which is so important for all of us to understand the strength in that.
Absolutely.
Program number 5.
And the 5th program is Circles of the Heartland. And they are a organization that works with individuals to get themselves out of poverty.
Right. I've been an ally with Family
Have
Circles,
you?
so
Oh, yes, yes.
I have really enjoyed that opportunity.
It is great.
What it has taught me, and what each of these programs teaches all of us, you know, we're all human beings working together. We're not very different.
Right.
When it comes right down to it. We need caring, we need love, we need equal opportunity, we need a path to become economically independent, and we need to make sure that human beings at any age have an equal chance to just not survive, but to thrive, I think.
Right, right.
And the United Way is such an important piece of that. Well, tell us a little bit about this wonderful centerpiece.
Sure, this was our celebrating our 80 years. We had our kickoff, and I had, of course, had to figure out a way to make centerpieces for all of this. So, you know, I tapped into my inner diva and came up with some stuff. The red represents the first 3 eras, which is the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Okay.
And that was when the community chest was introduced, and they had a fund that, or a kind of a status, I guess you would say, of donor that was the Red Feather Society.
Oh, how interesting.
And so that's that centerpiece. And then, as I said before, there was the 60s, 70s, and 80s was when the United Way torch was a big thing. And so we have a picture of the torch here. And then in the, the 90s to current, we have, they brought on the Live United theme. And so currently we have the Live United, and it says, you don't just wear the shirt, you live it.
What a wonderful direction the United Way is going. Tell us again how they might get in touch with you.
Oh, sure. Multiple ways they can get in touch, yes. Would you like phone numbers and everything?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they can call our office, and it is 785-827-1312, or they can email me, and it's my first name is Tanya, Tanya, at unitedwaysalina.org, or they can even go onto our website, which is unitedwaysalina.org.
So all of us have access to probably all 3 of those ways to reach Tanya. I want to thank you, Tanya, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And our guest again has been Tanya Pence, who is the Director of Resources for the United Way of Salina. I encourage all of our Salina citizens to be aware of what this program does for each of us, and to make it a point to be a bit more involved, perhaps in one of the 5 programs that Tanya has explained to us.
Right.
Promise me you'll come back and bring us up to date.
I will.
All right.
It would be great fun.
Thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you.